Christian Metz used Lacan's mirror stage theory to determine that films give the spectator a sense of mastery over what's happening on screen. However, in the 2026 film The Drama, that sense of mastery is stripped away from them when director Christopher Borgli destabilizes them by making them question their own morals. The film sets up a false sense of security by seemingly being a light-hearted rom-com in the first 15 minutes.
I love that book so much. It's I just finished it last week. It's incredible. It's like really admire it.
In The Imaginary Signifier, Christian Metz refers to the mirror stage theory and states that the spectator is absent from the screen. Contrary to the child in the mirror, he cannot identify with himself as an object, but only with objects which are there without him. By identifying with common rom-com tropes, the spectator feels safe and secure. As Harriet Margolis suggests, cinema psychologically absorbs spectators into systems of fantasy and identification. This familiarity creates the illusion of a predictable and controllable narrative. However, this sense of predictability crumbles during the dinner scene when Emma confesses.
I almost did a mass shooting.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
The beauty of filmmaking is the ability to cut out the awkwardness of reality. However, Borgli amplifies it. There is not a single piece of music or background noise for the entire scene, forcing the spectator to sit with nothing but the uncomfortable dialogue and their own thoughts.
I didn't actually do anything.
Oh.
You know my cousin's in a wheelchair because of a shooting, right?
Instead of cutting away quickly, the extended reaction shots keep the spectator within the discomfort of the moment, preventing any possible release of tension. The camera is framed perfectly at eye level on the opposite side of the table to Emma and Charlie. Rather than framing the camera where Emma is sat to show it from Emma's perspective, the camera is placed in between the friends reacting, Mike and Rachel, giving the spectator their own spot at the table. This rips the spectator out of their comfort zone of mastery and makes them confront their own moral compass. This is where the audience gets psychoanalytically split in two. By making the action as horrific as a school shooting, yet as morally up in the air as not going through with it, spectators are forced into conflicting and highly personal interpretations. Instead of telling the spectator who's in the right, it instead presents two people that are affected in different ways, and forces them to make their own decision. Whatever choice the spectator makes is tested and moulded throughout the film as they slowly reveal more about each character's lives. We learn the deepest, most vulnerable parts of Emma and Charlie's psyche through an array of confessions. Borgli allows the spectator into these vulnerable moments in a voyeuristic manner. Laura Mulvey states that the cinema satisfies a primordial wish for pleasurable looking, but it also goes further, developing scopophilia in its narcissistic aspect. By exposing intensely private moments, Borgli fulfills the spectator's deep-rooted desire for other people's intimate knowledge. The camera is placed at the other end of the apartment, with a dining room chair in the foreground, to show that the audience is spying on a conversation they shouldn't be witnessing. However, he makes the spectator regret this urge by then entangling them in the anxiety-inducing downward spiral of their lives. The film goes as far as allowing the spectator into their minds and visualizing their anxiety daydreams on the screen. As Todd McGowan argues, cinematic desire is often structured through fantasy rather than reality. For the majority of the film, we see the situation unfold through Charlie's eyes. This links to the male gaze because Mulvey argues that women are positioned as objects to be looked at, while men are the subjects who control the narrative and the camera's gaze. Slowly throughout the film, Charlie stops seeing Emma as a real person, but an idea he has of her in his head. This is displayed in the scene when Charlie hallucinates Emma in a sexual magazine, as he doesn't see Emma for the troubled, regretful person she is, but as a projection of his own fears and anxiety. This continues during the photography scene, where Charlie imagines Emma as her 15-year-old self.
Emma, fall into him. Just rest your... We're in love. We want to show it to the world. We found love that we're going to have forever. Right. Charlie, you're still here?
Further reinforcing that he is so disconnected from the real Emma. Overall, The drama goes against traditional psychoanalytic spectatorship by denying viewers emotional mastery or moral certainty. Borgley transforms the spectator into an active and ethically conflicted participant.